All right, welcome to Chapter 3 of our remote production course where we're going to be talking about IP video. This is a big deal, and I'm going to try to help you have a high-level overview of it, plus provide some detailed look at our studio and actually connecting to an IP camera, controlling it, and sharing access with others in the world. Let's go. So we looked at SDI, and it's becoming less relevant. It's still relevant, but becoming less relevant because of IP. And this right here is a PoE network switch. And this network switch has 8 ports. So it can become like an 8-port video switcher that also provides connectivity to our devices, our cameras, the internet, and the ability to remotely control cameras. So just to give you an example, if I unplug this camera right here and then I plug it back in, you'll see that it will turn on because it's going to receive power from the network. Once it's on your local area network, if it has connection to the internet, meaning if the network switch has connectivity to a router that provides internet access, you can control that camera, get the video from anywhere in the world for remote production. And that is what we're going to go over today. So IP video is the ability to send video not just one direction, but bidirectionally, meaning you can see the video, so you can receive it, right? So we're like sending it somewhere, but we're also sending video commands back. We're sending commands back to control the camera, to reboot it, to change the stream. So it's really fundamental to remote production. And IP video is then enhanced by these different protocols like NDI, which stands for Network Device Interface, Dante, and SMPTE 2110 are just a few of these IP protocols that enhance the base IP technology, which leverages standard networking equipment, right? Ethernet cables, literally network switches, and we'll go over some of the topology of the way a network is set up so you can understand how all of these IP-based devices communicate together to create a remote production environment. Now, NDI, we talked about it being released in, I believe it was 2015, and it was originally developed by a company called NewTek, and it allows you to create broadcast quality video over a standard network switch. That network switch that I showed you, I have used. This is a less than $100 network switch. Now, I'll be honest, this right here, this was like actually expensive. This was a 4-port PCIe card that we had to put in a network in a system here. And then if you look at the network switch right here, this is a $100 network switch. It provides power to my devices, and it literally provides gigabit networking connectivity for each port there. So 1,000 megabits of data can go back and forth on each of those. It's a really big deal. It saves money, it's more efficient, it's more flexible, and we use NDI quite regularly with our video production. So we'll go over that, but it connects your broadcast studio to so many different things over the local area network, the LAN. And the LAN is good, but the LAN is local, right? We want to do remote production, and we'll get to remote to the cloud soon. And we'll show how both of those work together. SMPTE 2110 is also something discussed in the book. This is a more professional setup that's uncompressed video support and high bandwidth. And if you're just getting into IP video, I don't recommend SMPTE 2110 as a start because it requires very high-end equipment. I actually recommend NDI to get started with the NDI tools that are free, but you should know that there's multiple different protocols for different solutions out there. Dante being another one that is very powerful, and Dante is very powerful in audio. They now have video. They also have free software to help you manage IP video. And Dante has an amazing ecosystem. Dante and NDI are really kind of the leading IP video protocols, and we're going to dig into all of this throughout the course. Now let's take a look at a Dante IP video system together here. Now, one of the things you'll notice is right in the middle here, we've got a network switch. Okay, so this network switch is what connects all of the devices here together. So we've got a computer connected to the network, we've got a PTZ camera connected to the network, a PTZ joystick, and then we start to add other things like a audio mixer, an audio amplifier, even a decoder, which will take the video from the camera and take the IP video and output it via HDMI to a television. So having all of this connected to a network allows you to have one central management system, even managing it in the cloud, which is not shown here, but that's where we're moving toward, is understanding a local area network and then connecting all of that to the cloud to further your connectivity for remote production. So Dante, for example, when Dante first came out, there were tons of audio inputs you can imagine in a stage. You got a guitar, a microphone, and a band, and there's speakers, and all of this is happening over XLR cables. And what Dante allowed us to do is to say, hey, let's connect this all to networking equipment and imagine the additional things that we can now do. We can connect so many cameras and devices together, the displays, a full ecosystem all over standard Ethernet connectivity. So just to give you an example of what IP video has done to the industry, is made possible things that were very, very difficult to do, now all leveraging standard Ethernet equipment. So Dante, by the way, one of the reasons why I'm not going to go too deep into Dante is they have their own certification courses that you can take to get some basics of networking and setup, and go to level 2 to get larger networks and bandwidth management, and level 3 where you're looking at layer 3 networking and Dante Domain Manager. So consider, if you're going to be working with Dante, obviously consider the Dante certification programs. And then one of the things I'm going to jump into very quickly here is cloud computing and connecting all of this local area network stuff to the cloud. And that's where things get really powerful, because you can see, I think in this one here, you can see connecting to multiple studios and connecting to multiple locations and having cameras out in the field that you can remotely control. The cloud has really enabled that and allowing for remote production to happen from anywhere in the cloud. And now when we're talking about the cloud, you can set up an OBS, which is a popular video production system, in the cloud. You can use V2 Cloud, which allows you to deploy OBS in the cloud, and you can start to send all your video and audio to the cloud. And it allows you to remotely manage systems from your home or from your office. And that's some of the stuff we're going to talk about. And we're going to jump into a quick live demo where I'm going to take one of the PTZ cameras that's on my local area network, connect it to the PTZOptics Hive, which is cloud-based, and then share access with someone so they can control it remotely. Now, some of the emerging technologies that's enabling all of this, we have 5G cellular bonding technology, which provides high bandwidth access to let us stream video and control very quickly and easily. We've also got auto tracking technology, which allows these cameras to remotely, automatically follow subjects. There's just a lot of amazing things happening in remote production. So to round off our live streaming demo here, one of the things I want to do is I want to take this camera right here, this camera that is in my studio. You saw I connected it to the network in the beginning of this video. It's got one Ethernet connection right there. That's what is providing its connectivity. And what I want to do, zoom that out a little bit, is I want to get this camera and connect it and show you how easy it would be to share access with that camera. So I'm going to hit the plus button here in PTZOptics Hive. And what this is going to do is this is going to allow me to search my local area network. This is a really good example of going from a local area network to the cloud. And on my local area network, you'll see that there are multiple cameras here. There's one right here that is focused in on me. So I see maybe that's as good as any to do this demo here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it to Hive, and then I'm going to share access. And this is a PTZOptics camera. This is a 4K 20x camera. And I'm going to connect it to Hive and just make sure that I have connectivity by moving it. Okay, I have control of this camera. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to save this camera and finish. So what this allows me to do is I just added a camera to Hive, and you can see here that I can control this camera, okay? But what I can also do is I can share access with other people. So I can come in here and decide whether or not I want to have someone be able to control the camera or have somebody actually be a viewer of the camera. But I'm going to go ahead and send an invitation to mike.luttermoser at, let's say PTZOptics.com. I'm not sure what his email address, but boom, I have now invited Mike to control this camera. Now, I can't remember if Mike has a different email set up for his Hive, so I'm not going to expect him to come in here right now. But literally, that is how you can share access with people to control cameras remotely. So it goes from the local area network to a software that can bridge to the cloud to boom, other people. That is how remote production happens. And we'll, of course, be digging more into case studies like this soon. So that was just a little preview of adding a camera from the local area network, sending it out to the wide area network so that we can control these cameras from anywhere in the world. All right, let's get started. Our next course is going to be on core principles of video production, and we're also going to go over some of the tips that you need based on different types of live streams. So whether it's sports, education, house of worship, we're going to go over some of the different video production techniques that you should know in the next video.